Greetings and good evening. Greetings and good evening. Welcome to Groundings, Evolutions and Elevations with Brother Shamari. I am your host of Groundings with Brother Shamari, Eric Keith Grimes. And we come at you every Friday, 1 to 4 p.m. And then again on Sundays from 6 to 8 p.m. Right here on Pennsylvania's only black-owned commercial talk station. And that is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM on your radio. You can also check us out on Facebook Live by way of our Facebook page, WURD Radio. Again, that's WURD Radio. You can also check us out on YouTube, WURD Radio, or actually on YouTube, we're onWURD. All of our other social media platforms are simply the letters ONWURD. And again, right here on Groundings, we try to ground in our culture, evolve from where our ancestors placed us, and elevate into a higher calling. That is what we try to do right here, because we're very clear that if we don't ground, evolve, and elevate, that renders us stagnant and regressive. So we try to avoid that by having conversations and interactions on Groundings that move us towards that. So, you know, we normally start out our show with a storyteller, and I'm trying to hold some time. I hope that my brother calls in and does his story. Um, you know, but this gives me a time until he calls in to say a couple of things, and some people might not like me, but I'm okay. Like I've really decided that it's just time for us to be serious about the situation that we're in, and truth is truth, and people will get it. So I want to say this to my people. There's a lot of people, and I'm talking to the people particularly who either have requested or that I've requested to be a part of what we do here on Groundings. This is serious business for me. This is not, you know, a hobby. This is not something that I do. This is a calling that I believe is important to the deliverance of our village. And if when you invite yourself or are invited into the space and you accept the invitation, please bring your best to it. You know, we have an obligation to deliver something to our people because our people need, some of you all might call them arcs. I call it Nebuchadnezzars. If you were familiar with the movie Matrix, that was the vehicle and the vessel through which Neo and Morpheus and Trinity and all of those others were able to gain the guidance that they needed to do the work that they needed to overcome the bondage in the Matrix. And, you know, I take every conversation, every opportunity to stand in front of our people and build bridges and do this work seriously. You know, whether it's your professional, political, or personal calling, this is not something that is fly by night. We have a very clear schedule. We have very clear expectations and obligations. And if you've been invited or have invited yourself to it, stand in. It's very important to me because there's a lot of other things in my life that I am not doing because I feel like I want to be a man of my word and obligation and hold space for this platform for other people to do what they need to do. Sometimes I might not be feeling well. I might be sick. I might have other obligations that I have not, that I cancel in order to make sure that I'm available so that other people who said that they want the platform and want to do stuff and want to be heard can have their moment. Because if I don't show up, then they don't show up. So it gets very frustrating when people become very indifferent. And I'm saying that to our people overall. Black people, we are in a very serious state in our existence as a people. And this kind of, you know, whatever y'all want to call it, CP time, do it on your own time. I'll get there when I get there. I'm volunteering. This is charity work. We got to change that mindset at every level of our operation. Whether you get paid for what you're doing, whether you volunteer for what you do, if you're holding space and creating space for a village, it is our obligation to do that. And if you know that that's not what you can do, kindly say, I can't live up to that obligation, so please make room for somebody else to do it. It's just high time that we're operating on a different vibration, a different frequency, and a different level of purposing, because the people who don't mean us well, they are not playing. And it's time for us to stop being nonchalant and cavalier in our duty to bring our culture to our people, and our duty to ground, evolve, and elevate. We can no longer be cavalier, indifferent, and apathetic about that duty. So whoever needed to hear that, please accept it. Whoever didn't need to hear it, I'm not talking to you. But for those of us who are serious about our roles as stewards and as guardians, as social change agents and advocates, whatever it is that we do, it's time that we even, no matter how great you've been doing it in the past, it's even now time to take it to a whole new level and deliver on behalf of our people, the arcs, the Nebuchadnezzars, and the formations that will be necessary for our people to survive the onslaught that is about to come our way, and for us to elevate to the next level, which is our level of higher calling. So thank you for letting me open with those words. And now I want to jump into groundings, evolutions, and elevations with Brother Shamari. Hopefully we have our storyteller on the line today. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Greetings.
I want to say that I want to offer my apologies for my tardiness.
Yeah, you didn't have to do that, sir. I wasn't necessarily talking directly to you, so it's all good. Let's hop right in.
Thanks. So you want to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, my name is Ron Carter, and I wish to share a story with your audience. Long ago, in the city of Janae, the country of Mali, there were people and animals who lived side by side in harmony. It was a magical city, and the animals, well, they lived in the forest, but they still communed and lived in harmony with the people. Because you see, that forest in which they lived in was also magical. Now, there were two other people of this great city, Janae, called Heaven and Earth, and they wanted to make an offering to the Great One, He who has created all that exists. So they went to the people of Janae and the animals of the forest, and they put this before them. They had everyone in the village, and even the animals as well, gather materials for building a basket, a beautiful basket laced with diamonds, gold, rubies, ribbons, flowers, and within that basket they placed fruit for an offering to the Great One, He who has created all that exists. And it was a beautiful basket. But something happened. You see, Heaven and Earth, along with the people of Janae and the animals of the forest, were to make this offering. But Heaven and Earth, they lost sight. They began to bicker and argue back and forth as to who will make the offering. And Earth, he was like, I am the host. I should make the offering. And Heaven, insane, said to Earth, no, I need to make the offering. So back and forth they bickered so much that Heaven became sad and angry, and he left the face of the earth to live among the clouds and the stars and the heavens. At first no one missed Heaven, but then the earth began to dry up and all vegetation disappeared. Children no longer ran and laughed and played like children always do, and mothers, well, they no longer gave birth to children. And fathers, well, they no longer walked around with their heads held high, being proud of being the fathers that they are. Now, Earth saw this, and he wondered what was going on. So he called for a gathering of all the people of the city of today and all of the animals in the forest. No one wanted to say anything to Earth because they knew that Earth, well, he had a quick temper, and they were afraid. But then in the crowd, behind the people, behind the animals, was a voice. Excuse me. Let me through. And that was the jolly, the griot, the teller of tales. And he said to Earth, the reason why everything is in turmoil is because of the argument between you and Heaven. You must take that basket of fruit, which is magical itself, and you shall take it. Have someone take it to Heaven with apology so that we can get on the business of looking towards He who has created all that exists. And with that, Earth called for a gathering of all the birds. The first bird to attempt was a great mighty eagle. Not even he who was king of the birds could lift that basket of fruit. The great hornbill bird, nor could he lift that basket of fruit. But then there was the one unlucky hero, the one that no one thinks would be able to do anything, and that was the vulture. The vulture, he lifted that basket of fruit, and he spread his wings, and he began to rise towards the heavens. And as he rose, he began to sing, we need peace, no more tears. We need peace, no more tears. And he was gone like 1,000 bats in flight, and he disappeared among the clouds. And he came to heaven's gate, and he talked with the gatekeeper, and the gatekeeper let him in. And he said to Heaven, my dear friend, my dear Heaven, Earth sends his apologies, for he was wrong. You and him have known each other for ages, and you have never argued before. And he wants you to come back to the city of Janae, so that along with the people of Janae and the animals, and I and you can make that offering to the Great One, he who has created all that exists. And with that, Heaven took the vulture to his garden and gave him 3 gourds. The first gourd, when Heaven got to the gate, he dropped it, and it began to thunder. And when he was halfway to earth, he dropped the second gourd, and droplets of rain began to fall. And as he reached earth, torrents of rain began to fall throughout the city of Janae and throughout the forest. And the vegetation began to grow. And there was water, there was food for the children. And the children ate plentiful. And they began to run and laugh like children always do. And mothers will, they began to give birth to children. And fathers were proud once again to be men among men, taking care of their families in the city of Janae. And you know, heaven came to earth. Earth and heaven, along with the people of Janae and the animals of the forest, well, they took that basket of fruit, that beautiful basket, and they offered it to the Great One, he who has created all that exists. From that moment on, heaven and earth no longer argued, fussed, or fight, but they lived in harmony, along with the people of Janae and the animals of the forest.
Brother Ron, how are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm going to ask you to hold. We're coming up on the commercial break. When we come back, I want you to introduce yourself to our listening audience right here. You're listening to Groundings, Evolutions and Elevations with Brother Shamari. When we come back from commercial break, we'll check in with Brother Ron, who was our guest storyteller today. Brother, let everybody know, Pop Grow Something is fine. He just had a guest sitting for him today. I know how people get when they don't hear from Pop Grow Something, man. I got to start making sure everybody knows that Baba Nasheed is great. But one of the things we're doing is Baba Nasheed, the Pop Grow Something and the storytelling is his platform. And every now and then he shares the platform with guest storytellers and other people to sit in. And today our guest storyteller is Brother Ron, and Brother Ron is going to introduce himself when we return. We're also going to hear from our Brother Wasset to talk about the spirit of the drum. And it's beautiful because storytelling, the griot, the jale, the drum, it all goes together. So let's come back and get grounded with Brother Ron and Brother Wasset right after these messages.
As a business owner, hiring and developing people from the community that your company serves is one of the best ways to show commitment to that community. Let WURD Radio help with Livelihood, our new initiative that connects Philadelphians with companies like yours. We'll feature your business, open employment opportunities, and resources to connect your company with talent and ensure that you reach your target demographic. To learn more about how Livelihood can help you build your team, visit wordworks.com. That's WURD works.com. Livelihood is supported by the Nightland Fest's Local News Transformation Fund, Borealis Philanthropies Racial Equity and Journalism Fund, and the Solutions Journalism Network, keeping you informed. As a community service, WURD Radio and the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium wants to keep you informed about where you can get no-cost, barrier-free COVID-19 testing this week. These locations offer free flu shots and coronavirus testing. Tuesday, November 17th, from 12 noon till 4 p.m. at Esperanza, 4261 North 5th Street. Thursday, November 19th, from 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. at Sharon Baptist Church, 3955 Conshohocken Avenue. Friday, November 20th, from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. at Deliverance Evangelistic Church, 2001 West Lehigh Avenue. And Saturday, November 21st, from 11 a.m. till 4 p.m. at the Leah Chorus Center, 1776 North Broad Street. Stay informed and stay well with WURD Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Groundings with Brother Shamari right now on WURD Radio and WURDRadio.com.
And welcome back to Groundings, Evolution, Elevation. I forgot to name my own show for a minute. Groundings, Evolutions, Elevation with Brother Shamari. We got Sister Ngakia behind the wheels, still in the studio producing our show today. And let's keep it flowing. Before we went to commercial break, we heard a wonderful story about the complementarity of heaven and earth by our brother, our guest storyteller today, Brother Ron. So, Brother Ron, can you please introduce yourself to our listening audience?
Yes. My name is Ron Carter. I am from Philadelphia, born and raised. I grew up in North Philadelphia, that's 28th Huntington Street. I work with Brother Nasheed with Keepers of the Culture. As a matter of fact, I am the spiritual caretaker for Keepers of the Culture.
Oh, cool.
I've been with Keepers of the Culture for over 15, 16 years now. That is where I learned how to tell stories. Originally, I just played the drums, the congas, and the djembe, and spoken word poetry. And a lot of my poetry was so long, I decided to, well, if I can write long poetry, I can write stories. And so I was introduced to Keepers of the Culture through a sister by the name of Carolise Frank Reed, the Dr. Carolise Frank Reed.
Okay.
And Sandra Gilliard.
Yes.
And, you know, storytelling is something else. I enjoy doing it. And especially with the drum, because I do incorporate the drum at times in my stories, because some of my characters are drummers.
Right.
And some of my characters are storytellers as well.
So if people want to learn more about Keepers of the Culture and either support the organization or learn more about what you all are doing, how do they reach out to you?
Excuse me. Keepers of the Culture is the Afrocentric storytelling group.
Mm-hmm.
They are storytellers. That is the main flow, griot, dali. But there are poets, there are drummers, there are actors, there are people from all walks of life that are members of Keepers of the Culture. You can join to get more information about Keepers of the Culture. I do believe you can go to www.kotcint.org.
Yes. Very beautiful website. Your logo is awesome. I don't know whoever designed that. It's a very strong piece. Very good site. So again, that's www.kotc, which stands for Keepers of the Culture, KOTC Inc. INC. KOTCinc.org. And brother Pop Grow something, Brother Nasheed did let you know we're also expecting to hear from you at the end of the show, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're checking with you right about 7:45. Bring your drums and your story and your fun, because you close us out and send us out on the right spirit and the right note.
Okay, so you want me to okay, that sounds good.
Yes, sir. So we'll talk to you at the end of the show, Brother Ron Carter of Keepers of the Culture. He's our guest storyteller today, and he talked to us about the need for us, for heaven and earth, for our better selves and better halves to work in complementarity and unity with one another. I want us to remember that, y'all, because our divinity, our physical being, our emotional being will be under serious duress over the next short-term period. A lot's going to come our way as Black people. A lot, not just here, on the continent of Africa as well. The COVID cases and the death rates are kicking up. There's some instability in many countries around quote-unquote elections. There's the pandemic. There's a lot going on. And I think that we need to begin to realize and understand how important our culture and our cultural elements will be if there's any chance that we will have complementarity and unity between heaven and earth, between the brothers and the sisters, the mamas and the babas, our elders and our youth. Like, that is what we need to strive for. We got to begin to bridge the diaspora, those on the continent and those located in other places, and everything that we have that's divisive in our space right now needs to begin to work towards coming together. But it can't be a false coming together. We can't act like everything is okay. We have to come together, but also elevate. There's a higher level of accountability, a higher level of service, a higher level of duty, obligation, and commitment, responsibility that we need to bring to bear in the way we're relating with each other. Some people say I'm too hard or too harsh. I hear you, but no, this ain't the time. There's a level of expectation of delivering who we are as African-centered, clear-minded men, women, babas, mamas, elders, young people, cadre in our village. It is time for us to step into that power because we must transform our reality. And on that note, I'm going to check in with a brother who's walking in that right now, convening something on a weekly basis. On Sundays at 1 o'clock, we call Spirit of the Drum. That also has other things and formations and teaching circles that are coming out of that, because these are the types of things we need to walk into. So, Brother Baba Waset, greetings. Good evening. Welcome to Groundings with Brother Shamari.
Hey, greetings, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Again, as always, I'm always uplifted. I've been struggling. I'm going to admit, my energy and my focus, it's not depression because my thoughts are very powerful and strong and forward thinking, but I find myself a little lethargic over the last few weeks. And so I always appreciate, even when I think I'm not going to make it, I think I had perfect attendance so far, getting to the Spirit of the Drum. Now, I have been late a couple times, but I think I've been there every week. And just getting there and what that is and what that's becoming, my brother. I just love, I don't really sit in the back of a lot of things, but I love sitting in the background and really just supporting this and watching it from my position, seeing what it's becoming and the potential and power of it. I'm just uplifted by that and elevated by that every week.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I think that one of the things that I'm really appreciating about what's starting to happen is that a community-based organization and conversations are starting to stem out of the Spirit of the Drum and the drum gathering. And in all honesty, I think that these conversations and type of organizations should actually be happening all around the city and all throughout the country, given the attack that we've constantly, are under. We really don't have a choice but to be having these conversations in terms of what do we need to do, how do we protect ourselves, how do we provide ourselves with food, clothing, shelter, all of those things. How do we continue to prepare for what I would call, for lack of a better word, like an onslaught. Like, it's like a game of chess. Like, at some point, you can't always be on the defense. You got to be on the offense sometimes.
Sometimes.
It's like a boxer. Like, you're not going to win if the only thing that you're doing is always covering up and taking a hit.
Right.
At some point, you have to prepare yourself so that way you can begin to deliver some blows back.
And that's why they call it counter punching, right? You defend and then you create your offense off of your defense. You don't just consistently always cower and defend. And right now, man, I don't know where we're standing collectively and affirmatively and strongly, assertively on being black and creating the future that our children deserve. Man, every time I look at your little daughter at the thing and I think about my sons and I like, where is the energy where everything we're doing is to make sure that those children get to grow up into a world that is not dominated by other people like Fauci or Gates or Trump or Biden? Like, when do we begin to say, you know what, when you look at those children, our job is to craft a world where they are the center of their own world?
And I think that what you said is extremely important. We cannot continue to allow our children to start off from square one. And that's what ends up happening. Like, they never have a leg to stand on because we don't build anything. We haven't built an infrastructure. So what ends up happening is that the next time by the time the next generation swings around, they're literally organizing from scratch. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we need to be doing is we need to be organizing, creating solid communication. And the other thing I was talking about, we have to develop institution building. Like, how is it that, like when I think about, like if we were to do a roll call of organizations, if I were to tell people, okay, this is the organization that I want, where is the place that houses these organizations so we have an opportunity to meet?
Right.
Right. So when you think about it, and the only reason why I'm putting that out there, because I want people to understand the seriousness of where we need to be going. We need to be creating institutions, and we need to have buildings and places. And so when you think about the UNIA and the Black Panther Party and all of these other organizations in the past, we've always had places where we would be able to go and build.
Yeah, exactly. And there's places, even, places where there's cross-fertilization happening. I remember at the UNIA building, all different kind of groups used to meet there. You scheduled a space, but, everybody and their mama used to have meetings and sessions of some sort at the UNIA building. And I don't even know how accessible that is at this point anymore, but we got to find a space that's large enough to accommodate the energies that we have, and we're different people. We got to find spaces, number one. We're different people in different groups. Know that, everybody kind of has a cross-fertilizing headquarters that allows us to move up and get to this issue of Pan-African unity right where we are, right? Everybody thinks about being Pan-African, and you got to cross the globe and the diaspora, and that's part of it. But what does Pan-African solidarity and collectivism and unity look like right here in the city of Philadelphia?
Exactly, and I want to kind of go back to what took place today at the Spirit of the Drum.
So let me do this, Brother Whiteside. I'm going to ask if you could hold on, because I'm going to give you some space and time to talk about it, and we come up on a commercial break. So what I want to do is ask Reverend Joe is on the line. He's holding, and then when we come back, I want you to pick up and just, give our summary for today and let people know kind of, take your time with it, the vision of what you see and what you've been led to bring forward through the Spirit of the Drum. This is Groundings, Evolutions, Elevations with Brother Shamari. So before we go to commercial break, let's bring Reverend Joe. He's been holding for a while into the conversation. Greetings.
Greetings, Brother Shamari, and I want to say good evening to your special guest you're talking to. I've known him for a long time. But listen.
Well, you've known everybody for a long time, Reverend Joe.
Well, I said, God bless him. We are at war. That's period. With 4 words. We are at war. And last but not least, the keepers of the culture grew out of our fellowship. And I'm proud to say that I was with them in the very inception. And they're still going strong. They do history and drama. That's a good way to teach it. And last but not least, I keep telling you, Brother Samari, you ain't got to look for no place. If you don't mind coming to the suburbs, West Oak Lane, West Mount area, you can always use the church. God bless you. Okay.
Well, you know what? And I remember you made that offer before, sir. And I know it's I'm gonna put us on the record that before 2020 ends, we're at least going to get up to the Mount Airy United Fellowship Church one time and bring the Spirit of the Drum, where y'all got the spirit of Spirit of the Lord, and we're gonna make it work together for the Spirit of Africa, right there, Mount Airy United Fellowship.
Thank you, sir. God bless. Bye bye.
Appreciate it. It's funny, Brother Wase, you were talking today, and you actually talked about the idea of having church, and you went back to some of your old Pentecostal roots. So before we go to commercial break, Wase, just give us a 2 or 3 minute overview of kind of what the Spirit of the Drum is and kind of what led you to make the call for it. And then when we come back from commercial break, let's talk about kind of, the Spirit of the Drum session that we had today and some of the things you have planned for it as we move forward.
So I got to say that I love and respect Reverend Joe. He is the embodiment of like the Nat Turner minister type reverend. Not like the type of person who's in the accommodationist mode. He sees things as they are, and so I want to say that I love and appreciate him, and we will definitely be making a valiant effort to be there before the year is out. I always say that this was led by the ancestors, and then one of the things that I was just in deep thought about this whole ideal of COVID, what was happening, how they were basically telling us to stay in place we couldn't go nowhere, had to be masked up, and just literally creating a whole type of paranoia. And then we knew that this thing started out with one group of people, and then all of a sudden black people became the face of it.
Right.
And so, and you know what happens is that when it affects us in an entirely different way than it affects other people. Like you literally put us in like survival mode, you know. And so the ancestors literally just kind of spoke to my spirit and basically said, you know, whatever tools you need to use. And I think that drumming would be one of those vehicles. Like that would be the energy that our people need right now, you know, because when you take away from African people their ability to be able to draw energy from one another, right, you literally, that's the way that you defeat us, you know. And I don't think it's by accident that they're trying to contain us in place and not allow us to be around each other, taking us out of the schools and not allowing us to socialize. Yep. You know, so for me, I just felt as though I said, I'm going to use the drum. And the ancestors told me to find a space to drum, and I would put the call out, and it didn't make a difference whether anybody came or not, that I was going to go out to the park and I was going to drum and use that energy. Yeah. And I, you know, just so have it that, you know, the divine creator in the universe basically saw fit for that plan to basically manifest, and the people came. Yes. You know, and the purpose of that was to use the energy of the drum to go into spaces where people were, you know, feeling depressed and just feeling down, you know, about this whole thing. And just to be able to kind of get just begin to kind of get energized and understanding who they are, and understanding that, you know, if you understand what it means to be black and to be African, we always make a way out of no way. And right. we've been doing that, and this is no different, you know. And so I think that one of the things that has happened is that over these, you know, past, you know, couple of months, our people, I think that they have been energized by the spirit of the drum. I think those individuals who kind of maybe felt down and felt depressed kind of have a renewing of the mind and a renewing of the spirit. You know, I don't even think you should sell yourself short and say kinda, man. We've heard people testify that that's the case, and so let's walk into that and own that, because that now, you know, empowers us and commissions us to be continued guardians and stewards of that space, because people have talked about what that space does for them. So I don't want to hedge about it. Let's speak boldly of what it is, so that we can speak boldly about what we're going to create as we go forward. So we come up on the commercial break, my brother. When we come back, I just want you to continue to share the spirit of the drum. Sometimes we jump right into the updates, but I want to take a little bit of time for people who might not understand what it is and how it evolved and what it's about. And I'm also on the other side going to invite Brother Carl Tone Jones into the conversation as well. He's been one of our strong allies, not necessarily on the drumming side, but, you know, just as a brother and a presence. And I want people to hear that as well, because you don't always have to come out and be a drummer or a singer or a dancer or a spoken word artist. There's a space in the community, and we're village building and we're community building for the purpose of nation building. So let's talk a little bit more about the spirit of the drum. If you want to join our conversation, hit us up at 215-634-8065. Again, that's 215-634-8065, or toll free 866-361-0900. And we will talk with you after these messages.
With Internet Essentials from Comcast for only $9.95 a month, you get more. High-speed home internet service included. Peace of mind with XFi Advanced Security included. Access to millions of XFi Wi-Fi hotspots, that's included too. Internet Essentials from Comcast brings you affordable, high-speed internet to your home for only $9.95 a month. When you're connected, you're ready for anything. Visit InternetEssentials.com for more information. Taxes extra. Restrictions apply.
He's back.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton.
Keeping it real with the Reverend Al Sharpton.
In times like these, we have to stay connected.
At a brand new time.
Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. till midnight.
I'm excited that Keeping It Real returns to WURD.
Keeping it real
with the Reverend Al Sharpton.
Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. till midnight.
This program is pre-recorded.
No phone calls, please.
Keep it locked to WURD 96.9 96.1 FM, 900 AM.
WURDradio.com.
Groundings
With Brother Shamari.
right now on Word Radio.
And WURDradio.com.
Welcome back to Groundings with Brother Shamari, Word Radio and WordRadio.com. And right now it's Groundings with Brother Shamari, joined by Brother Wasset and Brother Carl Tone Jones. Are you there? See if I can bring you into the conversation at the same time.
So Daddy can open it.
All right, the days are opening or what? Brother Carl, are you there? All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm jump back to.
No, I'm here. I'm sorry, I had the mute button on.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna ask you to actually go back on mute. I just wanted to make sure you were there, man. I want to finish vibing with Brother Wasset a little bit, and I'm gonna bring you into the dialogue a little bit later on, because I want your perspective as someone. I'm not gonna call you a participant, but you're not part of the drumming squad, but you've been a consistent presence, man. I just want to hear your thoughts about the spirit of the drum from your perspective, because I've never really, talked about it from the other side, the other side of the drum. So I just want to hear what it feels like from that position. But Brother Wasset, let's jump back a little bit, man. Let's give a sense of what you foresaw coming out of these groups, and then how it's actually playing out for you, or coming out of these sessions. I mean, we're about, and my math might be a little rusty, but I gotta believe we at least easily have done close to 20 sessions so far since we started.
Yeah, I would agree. So what my intention was that, and we talked about this before, the drum is a very powerful tool, and I don't think that we utilize it and exercise it in the manner that the ancestors gave it to us. And as you said that, during slavery, there was a reason why they outlawed it, because they understood, how powerful that form of communication was.
It ain't because Muzz was dropping it like it was hot, right? It's because it was also some other things that this beautiful, wonderful instrument and weapon was used for. Now
let me tell you that two things that I saw, and somebody said today, that while they were there doing the drums, that they were hypnotized. Like the drum, when it elevates you to a certain level, if you understand it, it has a way of being able to kind of put you in a tranquil-like state. And a few people have come to me and stated that. And I'm saying that to say that the drum literally has the power to lead and direct if we understand and if we can tap into the source of that power. So my whole ideal of utilizing the drum was basically to take the energy of the drum and to be able to go into spaces in our community and basically kind of to provide healing and positive energy. Because if you understand the climate of what's going on, now add what was already going on in our community, where there was a lot of deaths and things of that nature, and then you throw COVID on top of that.
Right.
So there was just a lot of, just a lot of hopelessness and despair, going on in our communities. And I knew, or at least I felt strongly about the fact that if we were able to kind of bring the drum and energy in various spaces, that we could transform that. Mm-hmm. And so I think that one of the things that we've been able to do, we've been to the North Philadelphia Peace Park, West Philadelphia Peace Park. We've been in Germantown. We've been in South Philadelphia. So we've literally been all over. In all of those areas. And let me tell you what's so powerful.
And you left out. We was in South Philly at 4th and Washington. We've been West Philly, Malcolm X Park. We got to get up there where Reverend Joe was talking about in that Mount Airy section, and we got to get up into the Northeast. Those are the two primary areas we haven't hit yet.
Yeah. And there are other spaces. I am in communication with other individuals regarding indoor venues. I'm just waiting for them to get back to me. But what's so powerful about what we're doing is that we basically are going out into the community. Like, we're not indoors, and then waiting for people to come to us, where unfortunately when you look at some of our organizations, that's how they organize. And I think that what we have to do is we have to kind of change this programming or the paradigm of how we basically host a meeting, and try to have the people come to us. No, if you're trying to save the people, then you need to go to the people, And so I think that by using that type of model, one of the things that we've seen, and I love like when we go to like places like the Malcolm X Park or Vernon Park, we go there with no judgment. We go there with the tools that we have, and listen, we've seen people taking part of the herb and they've been, blessed in the bottle and things of that nature. But guess what? When we show up, not only do they honor and respect what we're doing, but oftentimes they participate. They inquire and they ask questions. And so the other part of what we were doing is also engagement. And that's what we want to do, is we want to take it to the next level of being able to engage our community, so that way we can, share some knowledge, some information or whatever, and hopefully have them become a part of the solution for some of the things that are going on in their community. The other thing that I want to talk about, too, is what happened today, because what happened today was very powerful. So now what we're doing is we have our spirit of the drum, but now we've added a segment where we do what we call community discussion/solutions. So now what we're going to do, and what's so powerful about what we're doing, is it's a cross mix of our elders, and we have our babies there, and we have the babas and the mamas, and all that doesn't always take place. So to be able to have an interactive discussion, and we understand, we respect our elders, so we actually are allowing them to lead us with their wisdom and guide us, in those conversations. And I think that is very powerful. And if people are really interested in organizing, and being a part of, community-based solutions, these are some of the platforms that are being built and that are coming out of the spirit of the drum gathering.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to hold for a while, and when I come back your way, give people kind of the on-ramps and how they can get into the mix and follow what's going on. Different ways that they can even support it, even if they might not want to show up, but they hear what's going on and might say, hey, that's a good thing. I want to be a part of that. I'm going to support that. But before we do, I want to go over to my brother, Carl Tone Jones, another spirit of the drummer, but not necessarily on the drum side, but you're there on a regular basis, my brother. You've been there with it from the beginning. Just your thoughts from that side. I'm going to just say it's the other side of the drum. What does it feel like to kind of be there, and what do you get from it that keeps you coming back and being a strong part of it?
Well, what I get from it is sort of the reconvening of the village. We have various people in various parts, and the drum is what brings us all together. And, you can't get too much more African-centered than that. and when we talk about the drum, and I'm glad that, Brother Wassett calls it the spirit of the drum, because it's a sacred place. When we convene in that circle, it's sacred. And it's sort of like,
The National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for New Castle County, Delaware, plus the following New Jersey counties: Camden, Gloucester, and Salem, plus the following Pennsylvania counties: Chester, Delaware, Montgomery, and Philadelphia. Effective until 8:23 p.m., the National Weather Service in Mount Holly, New Jersey has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for New Castle County in northern Delaware, western Salem County in southern New Jersey, northwestern Camden County in southern New Jersey, northwestern Gloucester County in southern New Jersey, southern Montgomery County in southeastern Pennsylvania, Chester County in southeastern Pennsylvania, Philadelphia County in southeastern Pennsylvania, Delaware County in southeastern Pennsylvania. Until 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At 6:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, intense showers and some embedded severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from near Bechtelsville to near Randallstown, moving east at 50 miles per hour. This line may contain little or no lightning. Do not wait until you hear thunder before taking cover. Hazard: 60 miles per hour wind gusts. Source: radar indicated. Impact damage to roofs, siding, trees, and power lines is possible. Locations impacted include Philadelphia, Camden, Wilmington, Newark, Middletown, Westchester, Gloucester City, Norristown, Chester, Deptford, Pottstown, West Deptford, Phoenixville, West Norriton, East Norriton, Pennsville, Coatesville, Belmar, Yeadon, and Westtown. This includes the following highways: New Jersey Turnpike between exits 1 and 2.
Author's name, but there's also war drums, right? There's also communication drums. Like the drum is a very functional part of our culture that in the 21st century, I think that we need to begin to figure out how we reposition it and how we utilize it and how we bring it forward such that it serves the healing, the war call, the communication purposes, among the many other purposes that is served in our culture. And I'm glad that we're focused on that with the spirit of the drum. So we come up on a commercial break. When we come back, I want to do this. I'm going to go to you, Brother Carl Tone Jones, and talk about a brief recent trip you took and kind of just the elements of this idea of Black Nation building and that summit and going down south and some of that energy. And then I'll come back to you, Brother Wysett, to close us out in conversation about Spirit of the Drum, letting people know how they stay in touch with it, some of the different formations that are becoming, that are offshoots of the Spirit of the Drum. And particularly, I want us to begin to build up the Spirit of the Drum Facebook page and reminding people that it's there and to join it and to like it, because there's a lot of communication that we also do through the Spirit of the Drum Facebook page. So this is Groundings, Evolutions, Elevations with Brother Shamari. I'm on the phone line with my brother Wysett, my brother Professor Carl Tone Jones. We're talking the Spirit of the Drum, but we're actually talking the spirit of healing, the spirit of communication, and the spirit of warfare and protection that we need to usher back into the Black community. Stay tuned.
COVID-19 impacted a lot of things this year, including regular vaccination appointments. Vaccines help protect you and everyone around you, especially during flu season. Schedule an appointment with your healthcare provider today to make sure you and your children are vaccinated. Vaccines keep us safe, and they work. Skip the flu this year. Get your vaccination today. Let's stay protected together. For more information, visit health.pa.gov, paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Livelihood, the new initiative from WURD Radio, connecting Philadelphians to jobs, entrepreneurship opportunities, small business resources, and financial literacy. Visit WURDworks.com right now and take the next step in your professional journey. Livelihood is supported by the Nightland Fest's Local News Transformation Fund, Borealis Philanthropies Racial Equity and Journalism Fund, and the Solutions Journalism Network.
Pennsylvania's COVID-19 mobile testing unit, KATE, will soon be coming to the area. Anyone who would like to be tested or receive free information and resources can attend a KATE tour stop. All services are first come, first served, and no appointments or insurance are required. Many stops will also provide free flu shots. To learn when KATE will be making a stop near you, please visit KATE, C-A-T-E, mobileunit.com.
This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.
Independent Black Media.
The views and opinions expressed by the guests, listeners, and hosts of any program on WURD Radio do not necessarily reflect those of ownership, management, or advertisers of this station. Groundings
with Brother Shamari.
Right now on WURD Radio
and WURDradio.com.
unidade em corpo, mente, espírito. Que a alma tem um povo de um passado sem glória. O que pode esse povo, privado de história? Que corpo tem futuro, passado, presente? Se a herança é a dor, chicote, corrente, na alma, na mente. Servindo a ganância alheia, vivendo, morrendo, descrente. Nesse pedaço de terra, amontoado de gente. Minoria luta, maioria consente. Minoria luta, maioria consente. Se de sangue estupro somos feitos, nós então quem somos? O bandeirante, o missionário ou o índio? O capitão do navio negreiro, o capanga, o capitão do mato, o escravocrata ou o quilombola, o capoeira? O que explora e destrói ou o que cultiva a terra? Ou somos nós a terra? Essa terra, nação diversa, sem eixo nem rumo, dos filhos órfãos que aqui pariu, pátria amada. De passado em diante tem futuro? Que futuro tem? Pra quem?
Que sejam eternos todas as pessoas, grupos e espaços que lutam e lutaram contra as restrições de liberdade, a opressão, a escravidão e o genocídio. Todas as revoltas, fugas, submissões e resistência. A todos que queimaram engenhos e se recusaram às missões, que envenenaram e subverteram ordens. A todos que resistiram. Viva Zumbi, Transfanon, Samori Touré, Davi Yanomami, Toma Sankarã, Inzinga, Nico Cabral, Jeamadu Bamba, Raoni Kayapó, Bianzan, Marcos Garvey, Malcolm X, Nelson Mandela, todas as aldeias, quilombos, aimorés, caciques e pajés, aos caboclos, herês, pretos velhos, toda a linha de Umbanda, a meu pai Oxalá e todos os orixás, os mestres, Samu do Konatê, Lama de Keita.
And welcome back to Groundings, Evolutions, Elevations with Brother Shamari. Y'all heard the roll call that was just about to happen there. Brother calling out the names of many of our revolutionary and liberation leaders and heroes. And again, it's the healing drum, the communication drum, the war drum. The book I was telling you about is called The Healing Drum, African Wisdom Teachings by Yaya Diallo and Mitchell Hall. So again, the healing drum. It's a lot of different books because the drum is a very important weapon, tool, instrument, and implement in our work and culture bringing, village building, and nation building. And to it, we must return if we're going to ground, evolve, and elevate. And that is our goal right here on Groundings with Brother Shamari. So I'm joined in conversation by two of my good brothers, Brother Wasset, and Brother Professor Carl Tone Jones, and we're talking about the spirit of the drum. Before I return to Brother Wasset, Brother Carl Tone Jones, talk a little bit about a recent trip that you took and this work you've been doing with groups around kind of the Black Nation Building and Black Nation Building Summit, and then let people know where they can hear from you on a regular basis right here on WURD Radio.
Okay, well, before we get into that, there's another book that was written by our good brother Jeff Weaver.
Right.
Speaks to the spirit of the drum. Is 5 Fifths No Compromise.
5 Fifths No Compromise. Good shout out, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So, the trip that we just took, it was a week after the summit. So we typically have our Building Power Summit in Coldwater, Mississippi, every year. And this year, with all the confusion around the coronavirus and all the restrictions and so forth, there's some of the things I put together at the last minute. But so we were down there a week afterwards. We still met with the people, some of our people down there with the Black Liberation Movement. And my good brother Patrick Alexander and my sister Krista Giles are the people who pretty much spearhead a lot of the work and activity that goes on with the Black Liberation Movement out of Mississippi. And so what they have been building over the last few years is an agricultural-based economy, for which we farm, produce our own food and things of that nature, and as well as produce their own alkaline water. So, it's a process we're steady trying to build and move and connect with other brothers and sisters like-minded across the nation in terms of this whole concept around building black power through black nationalism. And so it was a very rewarding trip because this trip was actually a vacation of mine. I hadn't taken one in 15 years. So,
wow.
Yeah, this is a vacation. And I implore all warriors and brothers and sisters who have been engaged in the struggle for a long time to take a few days for self-care so you can come back and start rejuvenated and ready to jump back in this fight. Because, one of the side effects I've seen is the mental anguish that comes from, having your face inside or engaged in the struggle and not ever being able to come up for air. And, I've seen, some of the negative outcomes.
Good point. That's a good point.
So,
That's a good point, my brother. I appreciate you sharing that, and I thank you as always for your support and your continued fortitude in the spirit of the drum and all the work that you've been doing. And if people want to keep in touch and hear your voice and hear your thoughts, man, you're a regular voice on the New World View, which comes right after Groundings, Evolutions, and Elevations. So let people know how they can stay in tune with your work and also your Independence Day Project documentary.
Yeah, well, the Independence Day documentary, you can just go to the website, blackindependence.org, or you can just come to my Facebook page or Instagram page and follow me there to get access to information regarding that. You're right, every Sunday, the first Sunday of every month, I'm a co-host with David Barnes on the New World View radio show on WURD at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every Sunday, and I'm thankful for that opportunity. I'm also thankful for you, good brother, and the work that you put in. A lot of people think you're just a radio personality. They don't realize how much, how many times your boots are on the ground, good brother. So, I want people to know more about what you get involved in. Cause, there's
I appreciate that.
Telling you to take a break. So
I appreciate that, my brother. And, yep. And that's how I know you. I know you from being out there doing work. And then we just talk about the work on the radio. So that's how I've always wanted to operate on Groundings. And, that's so far I had the privilege of doing it that way. So I don't commentate. I try to do the work that I actually talk about. So appreciate that.
Oh, no doubt.
Brother Wysett, you still with us?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
All right, so I want to come back again, talk a little bit about anything you wanted to recap from today, but for me also just to, the spirit of the drum is developing different other levels of work that are not necessarily drumming related, but village building related. I want you to let people know what that work is and then how they can be in touch with you and or the spirit of the drum or the Facebook page and things of that nature if they want to support that work.
Yeah. So one of the things that is starting to happen, and I'm grateful for that. My thing has always been for probably over the last 25 years, just being involved in community activism. So it was no surprise that this was going to elevate and branch out to that level. And so one of the things that we did today is we're building around how do we protect our community. What are the conversations that we need to have, around COVID and just different things, respective to our health, because we can't fight for freedom if we're not healthy. We can't liberate ourselves as a sick people. And one of the individuals that provides a plethora of information, is Mama Kay. And she doesn't just talk about it, she's about it in terms of, she's a physical representation of what it means to, live a healthy life, and be able to kind of eat the right foods, exercise, and things of that nature, And I think that in many respects, our people suffer on many levels, and I think that one of those things that we really have to do, that if we're going to fortify ourselves to fight this fight, we have to be healthy in mind, body, and spirit.
Right.
So we were able to kind of have a community dialogue and session revolving around community conversations and solutions, and so that's what we're elevating. That's where we're moving. That's the direction we're going in, and just building various platforms. And so a lot of that information you will be able to connect via the
Before you do that, man, I don't want to rush. I mean, I don't want to not rush you if you're rushing, but I want you to go because there's
I want to make sure
because even Mama Kay in speaking today, and Mama Kay is in her 80s. One of the things I love about what we're doing is our elders, but she was very intentional to shout out your wife, your queen, and the work she was doing as well. So I want you. I mean, there are like 3 specific, and maybe one more even evolving kind of program or activity. So can you just take some time and let people know what they are? I mean, we got the rites of passage stuff and the health stuff and, drumming, the stuff that Brother Camus would like walk people through that, because there might be people who are listening who say, you know what, I want to be involved in that aspect of the work, which is above and beyond, just what we do on Sunday. So walk through each of those if you can.
Yeah. So one of the things that we realized in the spirit of the drum gathering is that there are a lot of resources within our circle. And so understanding that we have a lot of resources in our circle, one of the things that we wanted to do is we wanted to tap into that. And so tapping into those resources, my wife, is doing a lot surrounding health. And so, she works with Mama Kay very closely. And one of the things that Mama Kay talked about is, using elderberry as a primary source for building the immune system. And my wife basically has her own business where she basically provides herbs. And, Mama Kay, if you get a validation from Mama Kay, about your product, you listen, that's as good as gold, and so Mama Kay, ordered something from, my wife. And so, like I said, one of the things that my wife does is she uses she posts, health-related information, for our community on our Spirit of the Drum page. So I will say to people that that's an excellent resource. And so one of the things that's happening is that those individuals who are basically coming into the fold of the Spirit of the Drum gathering, what we're doing is we're recognizing their talents and the things that they do, and then what we're doing is we're utilizing that as an opportunity to uplift our people and to organize and to build and to share information.
Right. So we have one that's committed on really the health side of things, right? Your wife is the head of it. We have a lot of strong people in our community, in our circle. Mama Kay, Mama Atia Ola, whose place we're meeting at, your wife, Sister Nyambi, who are among probably others who are really strong in this field of how to eat to live, plant-based living, plant-based beauty, plant-based health. So we really want to begin to support that aspect of people who are in our village of the Spirit of the Drum. We have Mama Musu, who's doing rites of passage work, right? So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So there are 2 things that we're going to be focusing on that we want to grow, and that's basically a women's circle and then a men's circle. If you ever come to the Spirit of the Drum gathering, it's literally like 50-50, like, half made up of women and half made up of men. So Mama Musu and my wife basically, had a dialogue and conversation, and they were basically already kind of having this conversation about the current work that they do in terms of working with young girls and young women. And so what's going to grow out of that is that they're in the kind of the beginning stages of creating kind of like a rites of passage, or what I would call like a women's circle, where they have an opportunity to have positive dialogue, on not only issues and concerns related to women, but then also how do they reach out, to some of our young girls in terms of being able to help to create a rites of passage,
right.
Program / conversation where we can develop our young sisters. Now, the counterpart to that is going to be that the brothers are going to basically be doing the same thing, and that's the work that we want to do. The sisters have to build up the sisters. The brothers have to build up the brothers. And so what's going to grow out of the spirit of the drum gathering is that each individual will be able to kind of bring their own talent to the table, and we're going to scoop up some of these young brothers and sisters. We're going to meet with them, and we're going to organize with them, and then we're going to build relationships with them, and help them to, understand, where we are, what's going on, give a historical perspective, but also we want them to understand where do you fit in this world of what it means to be Black and African, and then also understand that we all have a part to play, no matter how large a role that is in terms of, the liberation and freedom of our African people.
There you go. Yes, sir. And if people want to pour in and help build and help support the evolution of the spirit of the drum, how do they do that? I know there's Facebook page. Are there other vehicles and on-ramps that people can say, maybe I can't come on a Sunday, but the other work that you all are doing, I definitely want to be a part of. So how do they begin to connect with us?
So again, like you said, the Spirit of the Drum Facebook page and Wally Move Waset on Facebook. They can also
spell that for
with
people.
Me on it. In Walimu, MWLIMU, and Waset, WASET. They can connect with me on Instagram, and then also my email address is MWL as in light, IMU, W as in water, A as in Africa, SET, the number 7 at gmail.com. I check all of those handles frequently, so if there are people who want to, connect with the spirit of the drum, and what's beautiful about what's going on, we want you to be a participant, of the spirit of the drum, but as you indicated, you don't have to be a drum to be a part of it. If you have positive energy, if you want to do things positive in the community, you can be a part of that, and we will definitely find something for you to do that will, be something positive that you will be able to contribute to, our people, and to how we can move forward to be free.
So one more thing before I let you go. What's been the most rewarding aspect, or maybe most unexpected reward to come out of this, based on what you envisioned it being versus what it's actually becoming? Like when you think about this, when you say, "Man, I never expected it to do X, Y, Z."
I think what it is the consistency. Like Sunday after Sunday after Sunday, the people still come, and not only do they come, you would have to be there to understand what I'm saying. You can literally tell that it's something that they resonate with. Like it's like, and we've heard people verbalize like, this is something that I need. So when you build something, it's almost like people who are on drugs. They said that they need the drug, but it's just on the positive end. It's like, I need this on Sunday because the charge that I get on Sunday is what takes me through the week. And to be able to kind of provide something like for people, I mean, it's just powerful. It's powerful to be able to, to provide something like that. That type of spiritual charge that helps to take people, through their week, to get them through. Because, Brother Shamari, we are going through some very serious times right now.
I mean, we had 2 people in our community just even recently. One lost a brother, another one just recently lost her mother. And even the care and the warmth that the circle is showing, in their attempts to be supportive to those individuals, like the sense of family and connection. I don't know if you want to talk any further about that, but that's evolving, like you said, as people are going through very challenging times, and they're understanding that they even have another now support circle and group and village that they can rely on is something that to me is profound.
Yeah, and I'll just say very quickly, the spirit of the drum, although we're a gathering, we are in itself like our own spiritual family. Like, we may have to add spirit of the drum gathering / family, because what we do is we take care of our own, and, like Mama Pam, she went through what she went through, but one of the things that she said was that one of the things that basically took her through was being a part of the spirit of the drum. Like she was like, listen, as much as I was going through what I was going through, I just had to come today. Like, I needed it. And when you think about that, that reminds me of the person who's on drugs, and it's like, I need that, So imagine the counterpart of something positive, like I needed my spiritual fix, And so, like I said, again, that's a powerful thing, and it's just good to be able to be that to the people who need it.
Well, my brother, again, I want to appreciate you for allowing yourself to be the vessel through which this was birthed. Every now and then I wanted to talk a little bit more about it because it's evolving every week. And, just want to let people know that it's more, even though Sundays at 1 o'clock from 1 to 4 is a very powerful thing, it's also evolving beyond that. And I just want to make sure we let people know that this is a movement. It's a village building, nation building, grounding, African centering movement that you've been given and that we're now stewards of. And I just appreciate everything that it's becoming and the people who are making it become what it's becoming.
And let me just say this in closing, Brother Shamari. I am connected with some good brothers and sisters in Sierra Leone and in Ghana and Mali and Dakar, Senegal. And so we kind of communicate, throughout the week. And I have to tell you, they love what we're doing. I get regular shout-outs about the spirit of the drum. They're happy to see their brothers and sisters practicing the culture, being a part of the spirit of the drum, and building that, So we're getting a lot of love, from Mama Africa. And I can't even think of a higher compliment than that.
There we go. And so there you go. That's my brother Wysett. He joins us every Sunday to talk about and give updates on what we do every Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m., and that is the spirit of the drum all around the city of Philadelphia. And soon going to be all around everywhere, man, because the drum is our way back home, and it's also our way towards our sovereignty and towards our conquering and overcoming our depression, oppression, repression. It's our way back to Black life, liberation, independence, freedom, and empowerment. So thank you, my brother, for extending your time with us today and having a conversation. Coming up on a commercial break. When we come back, phone lines are open. So if you want to weigh in on anything you've heard, today or the conversation we had on Friday about maroonage, because all of this fits together. If you're paying attention, you should see by now how all of this fits together under the concept of maroonage, which I think is the highest form of political, cultural, village building and nation building that we've had here on the North American shores as African descended people. And I think we need to return to that concept. So I'm just trying to do my little part and support what I can if I believe is going to bring Black life, liberation, independence, freedom, and empowerment. So again, 215-634-8065. Man, I had a brain freeze for a minute. Let me do it again. 215-634-8065. Toll free 866-361-0900. We will speak with you and talk more after these messages.
Do you have a K-12 student who does not have reliable internet at home? PHL Connected is here to provide eligible students with free high-speed internet to make sure they always stay connected to digital learning. Dial 211 and press 1 to ask questions and get connected today for free. The hotline is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so call anytime. That's 211 to get your student PHL connected today.
Livelihood, the new initiative from WURD Radio, connecting Philadelphians to jobs, entrepreneurship opportunities, small business resources, and financial literacy. Visit WURDworks.com right now and take the next step in your professional journey. Livelihood is supported by the Nightland Fest's Local News Transformation Fund, Borealis Philanthropies Racial Equity and Journalism Fund, and the Solutions Journalism Network. Save the date. Friday, December 4th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. for the 4th annual WURD Empowerment Experience. And this year, the virtual and on-air event will be extra special as we celebrate the career of radio veteran Cody Anderson and discuss the importance of independent Black media. For more details about the 2020 WURD Empowerment Experience or to RSVP, visit WURDradio.com and stay tuned to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Groundings with Brother Shamari right now on WURD Radio and WURDradio.com.
welcome back to Groundings, Evolutions, Elevations with Brother Shamari. That is, yeah, I've heard me mention this group before, but again, if you're into drum and rhythm, the group is called Horoya, Horoya. Now, there's a group called Horoya Band. They're a group out of Africa. They're strong as well, but this is Horoya out of Brazil by itself. Just, check them out. They got a live version, a live album. They have 2 albums that really focus on African rhythms. They really do a lot of diaspora, Pan-African kind of approach to their music. So Horoya, Horoya. Just a strong vibe, a group that I strongly recommend if you're into that kind of sound. By way of plugs, again, I'm going to go back. I'm trying to say the Healing Drum, African Wisdom Teachings, really gets into the role of the drum in African culture. The author is Yaya Jallo and Mitchell Hall. Yaya Jallo, Diallo. While I'm doing plugs, I want to remind you all of my book, Why Our Children Hate Us, How Black Adults Betray Black Children. Go check it out. Brothers talked about the fact that they see me out in the community doing work. Been doing it for a while, and if you want to support some of that, we have Why Our Children Hate Us still available in PDF ebook form. Probably won't republish it as a hard copy, but looking forward to doing For the Love of Black Children in a hard copy version. But if you want to just support the work, still $10. Go to www.whyourchildrenhateus.com. Again, that's www.whyourchildrenhateus.com. Also, as you heard Brother Carl Tone Jones mention earlier, good brother Jeff Weaver, his book, 5/5 No Compromise. And he focuses on the 5/5 or 3/5 treaty, 3/5 statement and clause. That's what I'm calling it. There's a section in there called Drum Center Culture that I would highly suggest people read and begin to study, as it talks about the deep resonant role of the drum in African center culture and how we need to really begin to turn that drum back into the weapon and the tool and the purpose that it's used for, because in many ways our drum has been turned against and used against us. So again, my brother Jeff Weaver's book is 5/5 No Compromise, and that's Jeff Weaver, Weaver. Then also, again, want to give a shout out to my brother, Professor Carl Tone Jones, who did the Independence Day Project documentary. So go to his website, Independence Day Project, and check out the work that he does and has been doing in keeping the idea of African and Black independence and sovereignty alive and on the forefront of our efforts. We talked a lot on Friday about the idea of maroonage, and I want to revisit that a little bit. There's a method to the madness sometimes, and sometimes I'm not even aware of the method. I'm just following instructions and opportunities as they're led. So we're talking a lot about maroon on Friday, and I want to really begin to stay focused on that. It's going to be a large part, that conversation and concept will be a large part of our continuing forward movement with groundings. Oftentimes people talk about what our ancestors fought and died for, and they focus on one thing, like they fought for the right to be equal, or they fought for the right to vote, or they marched. And some of our ancestors did that. But when we say the ancestors, the ancestors did a lot of different things. And I really want us to begin to pay attention to the history that we're not being made aware of in the effort to forward a narrative about who we are as Black people in America. And I'm going to say that one more time, because there's this real life field called historiography. And what historiography is the storytelling of history. Like, people who are in historiography pay attention to the narratives that people are telling through history. So it's not just about history itself. It's about what story am I telling and placing upon the history of events that actually happened. And it struck me. I'm a student of Morehouse College, so of course we get the civil rights Dr. King version of everything, right? But when you begin to do some homework, you're like, man, for everything that we're being told, number one, they're not telling those stories well or fully. But then there are a plethora of just other narratives, other perspectives that our people have engaged in that never get to see the light of day in our storytelling. And one of them is the idea of maroonage, or being marooned. And, for those of us who don't know, maroonage is more than just running away. Yeah, we have a history of escaping slavery, and that's why, most emblematic is in the stories of Harriet Tubman. And I began to wonder, like, why, was that it? Was it just the Underground Railroad and her, depending on what you read, 19 voyages or freeing, but it's like, wow, then you go and study it, like, when you begin to understand it was like, even the Underground Railroad was more than just one person. Like, there were several Harriet Tubmans who were freeing people through the Underground Railroad. But then on top of that, you got several other independent kind of escaping slavery moments that are happening. And then on top of that, you have maroonage, which is not just escaping, but this idea of exodus, and then going and establishing homesteads and settlements and maroon communities, autonomously governed communities by Black people who have freed themselves from slavery, often without the help of white people. So one of the things about the Underground Railroad is bigged up so much because it was a story of integrationism, and then people want you to understand how much the abolitionists, quote unquote, helped the Negroes escape and the role that they played, and that's one part of it. But there's a lot of our own Kujichagulia and Ujima and our own self-determination and our own collective work in freeing ourselves. And I'm saying to you that when we go back and we study the history, we will begin to find that those maroon, independent, escaped settlements were probably the biggest threat to plantation management, the biggest threat to plantation peace, that then led to the Civil War, because the Civil War was almost this society's decision to say, the last thing we could have is for those Black people to free themselves on North American soil, much like their cousins and brothers and sisters did in Haiti. We can't have that here, or else there won't be in America. So we need to go and free them and engage in the eradication of slavery on our own terms, because if they do it by their own hand, the outcome will be different. We don't talk about how big of an energy and a reality the idea of Africans freeing ourselves by ourselves, establishing our own cities, states, I mean not states, but cities, homesteads, townships, maroon villages all across North America, South America. We have no idea how big a deal that was. And so I want us to begin to reflect on that, because when we talk about what our ancestors fought and bled and died for, we need to begin to incorporate and remember the role that maroonage and what I call Kuji-Uji, self-determination, which is from the word Kujichagulia, the Kiswahili term, and Ujima, collective work and responsibility. That was our contribution to our own self-determination, liberation, and Black life that we need to begin to return to as another among many ways that our ancestors fought, bled, and died for their version, their definition, and their perspective on freedom. I'm hoping to have on the phone lines right now my good brother David Barnes, who has a wonderful show called The New World View, which comes on right after us, Groundings with Brother Shamari. So Brother David Barnes, let our listening audience know what they can expect from you today on New World View.
Peace and Black Power, Brother Shamari. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, sir.
Good.
Can't complain.
Good and wonderful. Well, actually, tonight we have Yanina Carter with a Philly Beat 411 segment, and she's going to be featuring a Mr. Man Frisbee. Mr. Man Frisbee is a writer. He used to write for the Philadelphia Daily News. He's a philanthropist. He's a track coach and a movie critic. He's actually had several short movies himself, and we're going to be talking to him about some of his latest projects coming out. And, of course, at the 10 o'clock hour, we'll be doing our Afrobeat after party with Patrick and Jadu right here at New Worldview.
What is Afrobeat, sir?
Afrobeat is a form of African music, popular music. I don't want to say it's hip-hop. I don't want to say it's R&B. I don't want to say it's rap, but it's a form of popular African music. It's African music with a very party rhythm.
All right. And so, again, 8 o'clock, right after Groundings with Brother Shamari. Keep your dial locked right here, 900 AM, 96.1 FM, for my good brother David Barnes and his whole team of people, man. I actually want to sit down one day and take some notes from you, man. I like your ensemble approach to how you handle your radio show, and I want to talk about how you kind of maintain such a strong ensemble approach over this long period of time to doing your show.
That is amazing, but I do want to also say, in reference to what you were talking about, I would say, and I often say, that if we liberate and free our minds, then we can live in any state, anywhere.
Yes, sir. I say that's why we got to get back to Kuji Uji, self-determination and collective work and responsibility. And if we stick to that, regardless of where we are across this globe, we will be African, we will be black, we will be powerful, and we will bring black life, liberation, independence, freedom, and empowerment. So I thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
Coming up on a commercial break, when we come back, storyteller brother Ron Carter will close us out with a powerful story today on grounding. So stay tuned.
Do you want to help kids in foster care? CASA Youth Advocates is seeking volunteers of color to advocate for the youth they serve. 50% of kids in the Delaware and Chester County foster care system are children of color, yet only 9% of CASA Youth Advocate volunteers are people of color. Children in foster care greatly benefit from advocates who look like and can relate to them. They desperately need more volunteers of color. Visit delcocasa.org for more info. That's www.delcocasa.org.
Family Therapy Vignette Moments with Dr. Lucille Ijoy. It's never too early to talk about registration and voting. Listen to this rap about registration and voting. It's called A Two-Step by Dr. Lucille W. Ijoy and Bill D. Jolly. Listen to Grandmama and take this special note. Step 1 is registration. Step 2, go out and vote. It's called a two-step. It's called a two-step. Yeah, the two-step. It's called a two-step. Calling all citizens, don't you delay. It's time to do the two-step and do it right away. You say you want to have, you say you want to change. Well, get up off your duck. You have the power to arrange. Two-step. It's called a two-step. Yeah, the two-step. It's called a two-step. Listen to Grandmama and take this special note. Step 1 is registration. Step 2, go out and vote. It's called a two-step. It's called a two-step. Yeah.
Groundings
with Brother Shamari
right now on WURD Radio
and WURDradio.com.
There's a village. This village could be anywhere. It is a village called Booby Wooby. I know, it's such a silly name for a village. But you see, it is a village where people live, people who are happy and friendly. Yes, it is a village of friendly and happy people. And living in this village is a friend of mine, a friend by the name of Dewey. Now, Dewey was a little boy, and he was always happy, always running, laughing, and playing like children always do. And you see, all of the other children of the village also were happy and friendly. But on this one particular day, well, Dewey was sad, and so were the other children of the village. Now, Dewey's father and mother noticed this. So Dewey's father asked Dewey, "Dewey, my son, why are you so sad?" Dewey looked at his father and he just simply said, "I do not know." And his mother asked him the same question. "Dewey, my son, why are you so sad? Why do you not run and laugh and play like the other children?" And Dewey looked at his mother and simply said the same thing that he said to his father, "I do not know." And by the way, the other children of the village, they too are sad and not running, laughing, and playing like we always do. Now, Dewey left his mother and father inside the house and went out on the porch where his brothers and sisters were. And his brothers and sisters, they were concerned. So Dewey's oldest brother asked him, they said, "Dewey, what's going on, man? Why are you so sad?" Dewey looked at his brothers and his sisters and his other brothers, and he said to them, "You see, it is hard to explain to the adults how I feel, but I feel as though I am being treated as if I do not exist. I am not allowed to do some of the same things that the older children are allowed to do. And it is as if I am to be seen and not heard." And there are a lot of us around the village, a lot of us younger people who feel this way because we are the smaller children. So Dewey's father overheard the conversation between Dewey and his brothers and his sisters. And Dewey's father, being a very important man of the village, he called for a council of all the elders and all of the adults. He even invited the younger children and the older children to this council. And he said to them, "From this day on, I shall make a proclamation, because from this day on, we shall treat the younger children with much more respect than what we have been treating them with. They are human just like us. They are people, and they have feelings, and they have pride, just like everyone else. We will allow them to do some of the very same things that the older children do. And we shall give them much respect and allow them to even give advice from time to time." Now, Dewey, he began to smile, and other children of the village began to smile. Dewey was smiling so much that his smile started at the tip of his nose and all the way around to the back of his beady head. Yes. And Dewey's father said, "And one more thing. We shall have a festival, and we shall pay tribute to these young children as well." So Dewey's father called on a storyteller, a jolly, a griot, a teller of tales, and he called them forward. And they had all of the caterers come forth with all kinds of foods and parties and games, and the festivities began for the children beginning to respect them. Now, this storyteller had a drum, and he had a stool, and he took that stool and he sat it down, and he sat upon that stool, and he took that drum and he placed it between his legs, and he began to play. Oh, man, the rhythms he was playing had the people dancing in the streets. and on the roads in the countryside. And he began to play, and he began to sing. Yes, his song was so melodic, and his drumming was so melodic with rhythm for all to hear and to dance to. And that storyteller began his singing. Summertime and the living is here. Fish are jumping, the cop is high. Your daddy's rich and your mama's good looking. So us little baby.
The National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for New Castle County, Delaware, plus the following New Jersey counties: Atlantic, Burlington, Camden, Cape May, Cumberland, Gloucester, Mercer, Monmouth, Ocean, and Salem, plus the following Pennsylvania counties: Bucks, Delaware, Montgomery, and Philadelphia. Effective until 9:20 p.m., the National Weather Service in Mount Holly, New Jersey has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for northern New Castle County, in northern Delaware, Ocean County, in southern New Jersey, Camden County, in southern New Jersey, south central Mercer County, in central New Jersey, Atlantic County, in southern New Jersey, Cumberland County, in southern New Jersey, Salem County, in southern New Jersey, Gloucester County, in southern New Jersey, Cape May County, in southern New Jersey, Burlington County, in southern New Jersey, southern Monmouth County, in central New Jersey, southeastern Montgomery County, in southeastern Pennsylvania, southeastern Bucks County, in southeastern Pennsylvania, Philadelphia County, in southeastern Pennsylvania, Delaware County, in southeastern Pennsylvania. Until 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At 7:49 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, intense showers and embedded severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from near Chalfont to Chelsea to Port Bentamorniac, moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. This line may contain little or no lightning. Do not wait until you hear thunder before taking cover. Hazard: 60 miles per hour wind gusts. Source: trained weather spotters. Impact: damage to roofs, siding, trees, and power lines is possible.
At poetdrummer1 at yahoo.com. Poetdrummer1 at yahoo.com. And my webpage is voicesofdrum.net.
Now you have to say that again, because that's the longest website I've ever heard. So say that one more time.
That's a long one. Yeah. www.ronsworkshopvoicesofdrum.net.
All right, my brother, I appreciate you. And remember, Brother Ron is also affiliated with Philadelphia's strong, powerful storytelling group, Keepers of the Culture. You can check them out, www.kotcinc.org. And greetings and shout out to Pop Pop, Grow Something, and Pop Pop Know Something. Always coming through with some of Philadelphia's baddest, strongest, and most powerful storytellers and griots. So thank you, my brother, for joining us here today on Groundings, Evolutions, Elevations with Brother Shamari. That brings our show to a close. Thank you for joining us here, and check me out on Friday 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock p.m. as we continue grounding, evolving, and elevating right here, WURD Radio 96.1 FM, 900 AM. Talk to you then. Peace.
This is a rhythm, a warrior's rhythm, victorious rhythm, a glorious rhythm. You hear it, you feel it, it's there in the spirit, it's there in the lyric, don't ever compare it. The beat of the cradle together, we tighter than ever now. Forgotten, forsaken, forever mistreated, debated, disputed, but never defeated. No hate, no more venom, we straight with the rhythm. We celebrate rhythm, we elevate rhythm. The beautiful rhythm, the powerful rhythm. We chant to the rhythm, we dance to the rhythm. The beautiful rhythm, the powerful rhythm. We chant to the rhythm, we dance to the rhythm. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. This is a rhythm, a warrior's rhythm, victorious rhythm, a glorious rhythm. Yahoo, yahoo, you hear it, you feel it, it's there in your spirit, it's there in the lyric. Don't ever compare it. Yahoo, don't ever compare it. Yahoo, don't ever compare it. The beat of the cradle, defeating the labels, the people.
Pico has many ways to help you lower your energy usage and save money at home. Here's one. If your heating and cooling system is more than 20 years old, it may be time for your contractor to replace it with a high-efficiency Energy Star certified model. You'll get a rebate from Pico and save on your monthly electric bill. You'll find a list of new heating and cooling system rebates at pico.com/rebates. Or you can call 1-888-5-PICO-SAVE for all the details. Plus, find instant discounts on smart thermostats and more at pico.com/marketplace. There's free shipping on orders over $49.
Jobs,
Entrepreneurship opportunities, small business resources,
and financial literacy.
livelihood. The new initiative from WURD Radio to connect Philadelphians to resources to help take the next steps in their professional lives. WordWorks.com features career readiness tools, entrepreneur